Hey everybody, it's GoblinX, and welcome back to a third and final Magic the Gathering Foundations Quick Draft with Omniscience Emblem. We have gotten decently lucky so far, 5-3 into 3-3 here, but I really want to try to end things off with a bang, get a 7-win run. I feel like we have consistently seen some insanely good decks with boatloads of card draw in this format, and we just haven't quite been there on any of these drafts, so hopefully this is the draft pod to take us there. We will find out soon enough. If you've never played an Omniscience Draft, I suggest watching first two first because I will go into much more detail on those. But basically, we cast everything for free. We get 1 mana of each color each turn to use on abilities. In that kind of formats, the most important stuff is card draw spells because you can loop through your deck really quickly in 1 turn, draw 10 or 20 cards, slam a bunch of creatures down, kill your opponent in 1 turn. So that's going to be the goal today. So without further ado, let's get into the pack one pick one, where I think we're supposed to start with Kiora because of just how dang important card draw is. And while this does make you discard 2, because you have to play 40 cards in your deck, you play every single card you draft because you're not playing any basics or anything. So you're going to have plenty of garbage to discard to the discard 2, and this just digs towards your better stuff while also being a card that easily makes an 8/8 because it's very easy to get in Threshold when you cast all your spells for free. You get so many cards in your grave so fast. So we're going to take Kiora over Sire, which is rough um, to open both of these incredible cards in the same pack, but I think Kiora is just really good for Omniscience Draft. And now for pick 2, Arcane Epiphany, also really good for Omniscience Draft, being the draw 3 to help you dig quite a bit farther through your deck. Time Stop also seems really fun, but the draw 2s and draw 3s are incredibly high picks. For pick 3, Self-Reflection is a very fun card on creatures with really good enter effects, but we have a draw 2 in this pack with the Think Twice. We also have a Ravenous Amulet, which is decent. If this didn't have to tap to sack the creature and draw a card, I'd probably take it over Think Twice. But I think the pick order here is Think Twice number 1, Amulet number 2, Self-Reflection number 3. Because again, you're going to end up with so much filler, you're going to have some random just filler nonsense creatures on the board. So being able to cycle those away to draw more cards is huge. But drawing 2 just right off the bat, incredibly huge. The Omniscience Emblem, worth mentioning, only lets you cast things for free from your hand, not your graveyard, so you do have to use your one of each color per turn on a Think Twice. So you can't flash back 2 Think Twices in 1 turn. Pick 4. Ooh, this pack looks really bad for Omniscience. Actually, Elvish Regrower is kind of interesting. There's going to be a lot of draw and discard usually in these decks between cards like Kiora and Refute and Icewind Elementals, so Elvish Regrower could actually be solid. Pick 5, there's the Refute I was just talking about, and there's no huge card draw spell. I mean, there's technically an Inspiring Call, but it's really almost impossible to end up with like a +1/+1 counter synergy deck in Omniscience. You just have to take the good card draw spells and card draw creatures and stuff, like the Icewind Elemental here for the card draw creature. Draws a card, discards our worst one to keep the better one. Dig towards the really important cards. Speaking of digging towards the important cards, there's the Strix Lookout to draw a card and discard a card every turn. There's the Refute to counter their very good spell and also give us card selection, but Pilfer is also decent. Ooh, there's Thrill of Possibility, though. Thrill of Possibility versus Refute is very close. I think I'm going to go Thrill of Possibility again because of how much filler there is. Discard 1 to draw 2 is very close to just straight up draw 2. Pick 10. Runaway Together can let us redo a really good enter effect like a Kiora. And we're late enough that it's going to be pretty much garbage at this point. Wow, Amulet and Reflection came back. I mean, the bots aren't drafting Omniscience. They don't know what's going on. So they're just drafting normally. We'll take the Ravenous Amulet here. Pick 12. Random filler creature. I guess Cyclops is kind of hilarious. Maybe we cast 7 spells in 1 turn and just deal 21 to our opponent. It's not impossible. He's Imprison the Moon. Just okay removal. And then pack 2, pick 1. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, draw a card. All right, you got me right there. That seems good. Seems pretty good. Reducing the cost of the instants and sorceries really doesn't matter, but drawing a card whenever you cast them is sweet. And Think Twice happens to play super well with that. Not only are we going to be able to draw 2 additional cards because we cast it and flash it back? But the fact that this makes the instants and sorceries cost less means we actually will. Oh no, I'm wrong. We don't get double blue. We could theoretically flash back 2 Think Twices for 4 mana, and we do get 5 mana per turn, but the mana we get is 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, 1 green, so I won't have double blue to do that. Well, it's still cute. Still cute. Still good for the double spell, draw. Micromancer with the fleeting thing, give a creature -1/-0 till end of turn, draw a card, ends up just being a bigger version of Helpful Hunter that might also trigger Archmage of Runes and thin the deck. So if you get the fleeting distractions, Micromancer is better than Helpful Hunter, but when we have 0 fleeting distractions right now, we don't know for sure that we will get them, so I will take the Helpful Hunter. And then be sad when we inevitably somehow get like 2 copies of fleeting distraction in here. Pick 4, there's Mild-Mannered Librarian, which is literally just bigger. Helpful Hunter. I've already got 1 Squad Rallier, which I do think is pretty fine here. Mana Sink to draw your Helpful Hunters and Mild-Mannered Librarians to draw more cards eventually. An offer you can't refuse can also be fine for countering specifically like Epiphany, but go for that consistent draw. Pick 5. Incinerating Blast, removal spell that lets you dig. With the discard a card, draw a card. Garruk's Uprising turns all of your 4 power and bigger creatures into another piece of card draw. So all your big random filler becomes much better with that card. Pick 7, Icewind Elemental again. Soul Color is also decent. Balmor could be decent. I think it's really Elemental or Soul Color, and I'm going to take the Elemental. Pick 8. Look out. Pick 9. Nonsense. So we'll take a power 4 creature to trigger Garruk's Uprising. Pick 10. Ooh, Thrill Possibility. I don't know if I even noticed that the first time. So I'm happy it wheeled. Pick 11. Nonsense. 2 1/1s or 1 creature that... This is so slow by Omniscience Standard. Even if it gets a +1/+1 counter every single turn, that's so slow. You can't get more than 1 +1/+1 counter per turn. I'm just going to take the 1/1s. Katana. This is not a 4 power creature, so I'll just take a... Well, I've got Amulet to cycle through random creatures. We'll take Lagak. Then Bolt Wave. That's going to be super bad filler. Might get to cut it, though. All right, pack 3, pick 1. Is an insanely good pack between Day of Judgment and Elenda. Hexproof from instance. This is hard to kill. Can draw a card off Garruk's Uprising. I feel like Day of Judgment is just more well-suited to this format, though, because games so quickly get to just a blowout, like 6-7 creatures on your opponent's board and none on yours. Yeah, Elenda normally would be a way higher pick than Day of Judgment, but in Omniscience, I think it's actually Day of Judgment that gets the pick here. I don't know what's going on with our deck, like reorganizing every pick. Luckily, no draw 2 or draw 3 here again, so I can take a Coma, which is very fun. Pick 3. There's a Pilfer. There's an Affectionate Indrik, which can draw a card off of Uprising and is like a mediocre removal spell to play. I think I like that better than Pilfer by a tiny, tiny bit. Pilfer is really good in your opening hand and usually just irrelevant later. Pick 4, bake into a pie. Pack 3 is actually as cute as it is to cast a Coma for free. Your opponent can cast 1 removal spell really easily in Omniscience, and then it just doesn't do anything. So I think Pack 3 has actually gone really bad for us because there's just been no premium card draw whatsoever. No draw 3s, no draw 2s even. It's been a bad pack. Yeah, I'm not very happy with the contents of Pack 3. Yeah, once again, no card draw at all. We just take an Armasaur Guide. Yeah, this has been an atrocious pack um, by Omniscience standards. We've got enough ways to randomly discard that I think Soul Collar is getting pretty good over Icewind Elemental. Just having at least like one copy of that. Pick 7, there we go. There's a Thrill of Possibility. That is something. And pick 8. Incinerating Blast, I guess. But again, Offer You Can't Refuse is playable. Okay, Icewind Elemental. Inspiration from Beyond comes all the way back. That's really lucky because that makes it slightly more consistent to draw into the one copy of Arcane Epiphany. I've played against so many opponents with 2 or 3 of these, and it's very viscerally frustrating that not once will I get more than one copy in the draft pod. But it is what it is. All right, 41, 42 cards here, so I get to cut some stuff here. We got lucky in that we didn't open up a lot of basic lands to be forced to just cut basics, and we actually can just cut the 2 worst cards. So like Bolt Wave is going to be completely irrelevant almost every time. Maybe an Adept. A Quick Draw Katana. A Goblin Surprise. I guess Surprise is fine with Amulet. Like all the filler creatures can at least work with Amulet. Okay, definitely Bolt Wave. And then probably Katana. And that is our deck. We just hop right into the gameplay and get this random chaos going. Not super confident that we can get a 7-win run this time around in these 3 runs, but there's not a ton you can do that. You are really, really at the mercy of your draft pods in this format. And then just, once you get into the gameplay, that's when you're just like, all right, we're flipping the coins and seeing what happens now. So, all right, I'll keep this. Librarian to cycle, Bacon to apply for their best threat. His hand doesn't even get pilfered very hard. Okay. Like that lookout. Really helpful when they're down to just 1 card. We're in a top deck war, and the Strix Lookout's going to make us much more consistently draw decent spells. Drawing into the Offer You Can't Refuse after the Pilfer is really gross. Like a 1 in 37 chance here of drawing into Refute. Do I need to Bacon to buy my own Strix Lookout for that? I don't think so. Maybe a 2 or 3 out of 37 if they have 2 or 3 Refutes. Here's the 4/4. Just speed up the clock. We hit for 8 a turn, so we kill them in 2 swings. Firebrand Archer, not big enough to matter. This target opponent discards 2 cards? Alright, well then I guess I'll bake the Archer into a buy. Like that draw. Like that draw as well. Pick up Refute, and then how do they win? I don't believe they do. Oh, the Archmage as well, or the Archmage? I never know for sure. Alright, they cast anything, refute it, and then attack lethal next turn. That is 1-0 with some really good luck in the first game. Moving into game number 2. All right, here we are for game 2. We are relying heavily on Squad Rallier for this hand. I think this earns a mulligan trying to hit a better draw spell. Yeah, that's a way better draw spell. Yeah, if they don't have discard kind of interaction, or a counterspell. Archmage into Think Twice. Well, might as well try to get the refute. Because obviously they are going to pilfer the Archmage. God, they've got the Epiphany in the opener too. A Pilfer Epiphany opener. It's already pretty devastating. At least we've got some really nice other cards here. Like Archmage definitely dies, but then Hunter and Uprising could be big. There's a Sower. Mountain. Ravenous Amulet. Well, at least they had to play a Mountain. That certainly works in our favor. Lagak. Goodbye, little cat. The Lagak is big enough to threaten to block the Sower if they don't keep activating its ability. But you are not. Might be better to just hold on to this for a turn. So if we draw another filler card, I can discard that. I don't think I mean, how many power 4 creatures do I have in this deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 33 turn into draw spells with Uprising. I guess I do actually. It's like 1 out of every 6 or something. So the odds of, like, it's going to take a while before Uprising even draws us 1 card on average. Okay. Think Twice. Maybe I should have led with Ravenous Amulet so they can't, like, removal spell Lagak here before I can sack it. Broken Wings. Yeah, I guess they could also Broken Wings in response, and then I can't sack a creature in response. Yeah, that's rough. Probably should have just led with Amulet on Lagak. Alright, I don't get to activate Rallier this turn, but now I see if I draw into something filler to discard to Thrill of Possibility. Okay. No. We are not going to Thrill of Possibility this turn then, because they can't Amulet right now. They're playing off the top. And we can just start jamming and damage this way. Well, you win some, you lose some. The immediate 12-8. I guess I could have thrilled the Cyclops away and tried to draw Refute. Okay, an offer you can't refuse is not a Refute, but it is probably better than Cyclops. Alright, no problem. We'll just draw an Incinerating Blast anyway. Actually activate this, see if I get something more filler to discard. Again. Sure do. Goodbye, Cyclops. Oh, this is 6 damage, not 8. So I have to attack and then kill it. Cool. Jump with Cyclops, keep the race going. That would have been a funny punt. I've just been using this so consistently as just destroy whatever I want. That the 8 toughness is very relevant. They're raiding through the top 3 cards of their deck with a Gutless Plunderer, looking to find something powerful, and then mill the rest. If they all suck, they can just mill all 3. Mill 2 of them. They mill Blast and an Offer You Can't Refuse for something else, so their top card is pretty good. But they're still not going to sack Plunderer towards it with the Amulet. Alright. I'm actually ditching Day of Judgment here. My board is considerably better than theirs and likely to stay that way. I guess I should have, again, just squad rallied before any of this to find something more expendable to discard. Okay, my board is definitely staying better than theirs. If they have a board wipe, I just give them an offer they can't refuse. Okay, well, if I rallied before anything else, I'd just be discarding a Lookout anyway. Let's discard another one. Do I have a Refute Engrave? Not yet, but I could hit one. No. Oh, Goblin Surprise. It's not lethal this turn. I actually just take Thrill of Possibility then. If I'm not going to lethal them right now anyway. Definitely lethal them next turn. And I have the counterspell for any non-creature, and any creature I don't think is going to be enough to survive the coma. It's kind of funny, this is so big it trades into coma, but then everything else goes them. This is slightly interesting, because if they have the double target creature's power, then I just die here. Because it has flashback. So if they cast it and then I countered it, they could flash it back from grave because they have double red thanks to this mountain. So I think I actually just play it safe and chump thanks to Squad Rallier. Alright, counter that, and then they can't do anything else. They're out of cards. Alright. 2-0 heading into game 3. So far, so good. Trying to get one trophy run here. Alright, we've got one draw card, discard a card, and we can imprison their best creature. I still think we have enough. We'll draw 2 spells in the deck to try to find one of those. Okay, this is pretty on par with our first hand, because an offer you can't refuse goes so far. Alright, we're chilling. Just blast their Lookout so they can't draw a card, discard a card every turn. And then set up ours, and here we are. Strix Lookout MVP. Crackling Cyclops, that can deal 21 damage in one swing. Incinerating Blast, please. Run away together, put them back to our hands. Yeah. Sure, it'll be another turn before I can draw and discard, but that's fine. They're going to spend a whole spell to do that. Cool. I don't think I'm killing one Cyclops. But who knows? Maybe they have an insane draw and they're going to cast 7 spells in one turn here, even through an offer you can't refuse. Just the Broken Wings. Okay, I'm just going to let that resolve and then Day of Judgment next turn. I really don't want them to draw into like a Wizard's Epiphany or something, or a Painful Quandary. There are plenty of spells that would just straight up win them the game. The Broken Wings on a Strix Lookout is certainly not it. Okay, countering a draw 2 is definitely better. And then we wipe both creatures off the board. They're completely playing off the top, and we have 2 spells. It's a pretty significant lead, especially with Kiora. Okay, now I've got a fairly significant lead here, but there's a lot of top decks that can go insane in this format. I actually think Strix Lookout's the best of these creatures to have. There's Wary Thespian off the top. There's the Incinerating Blast for it. Draw a card, discard a card to get a card into my grave, and then blast it to get a card in my grave, and then make an 8/8 and win. Sad I had to mill a Thrill possibility to do that, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, I could have gotten the 8/8 regardless, but this way I get the 8/8 and keep the Kiora. Which means exact lethal here. Slightly more than lethal. 15 damage. $11, $12. Ah. Too late for the inspiration. It's a sorcery, not an instant. Okay, they are still very, very likely dead next turn, so I'm going to hold on to the Archmage in case they have their own Day of Judgment or Blasphemous Act off the top. Oh, that's the Arcane Epiphany. That's the Arcane Epiphany I was talking about. Oh my god, double Arcane Epiphany. Must be nice. Please still die. Please still die. Yeah, I suppose since they're playing off the top, it's actually better to ditch Archmage and then Inspiration, the offer you can't refuse. Because, yeah, I mean, this is Omniscience. Oops, top deck half my library is a thing. I should have kept the Bolt Wave in here. We can Bolt Wave them for 3. Please die. Please take 2. Oh my god! Alright, here we are for game 4. Somehow 3-0 so far. Last opponent top decked and like draw 10, 15 cards in one turn. I'm like, okay, we're dead. And they somehow just did not find enough removal, so we remain undefeated. This hand is relying a lot on the Icewind Elementals finding something, so we'll see what they find. a counter spell, a card draw spell, anything like that could get us there. And Thrill of Possibility could, but it can't do it yet because I need another spell for it. I need another card, I suppose. Could be a land card. I'm not playing any in my deck. Oh my god. GG. I am going to go to the restroom while our opponent draws their entire deck and kills me. That's a pretty expected board state. And refute, and we move to the next game. 23 cards deep, no refute. It doesn't matter though. Is that an instant? That is instant speed to draw the card. Kill their flyer, I guess. All right. I mean, I guess the only way we maybe win is if they accidentally mill themselves, so... But maybe this gets them to refute the refute. Oh my god. Please refute my refute now and then draw your whole deck and lose. If they refute my refute, they are really close to milling their whole deck. Okay, they're not going to do it. Fair. Alright, well, we're dead on the crackback, so... That'll do it. 9 cards left. This was 2 turns from our opponent, by the way. There's the removal. Alright. Okay, I've got the offer you can't refuse, which is pretty good to have on the draw. Probably have to counter that, but then if they have like a Painful Quandary or a 1,000-Year Storm, that's a really good bait spell to cast. There's the Think Twice. But if they have a hand with like both of those, they're just in such a fantastic position either way. It looks like they did just lead with their best spell here. They've got 1 card left in hand. Yeah, we're looking fine. Looking A-okay. And then I immediately led with my best spell. Cool. Squad rally here, take us home. Nothing engraved, that does not matter. Get rid of our summoning sickness on the adept. Draw our cards pre-combat. Okay, scatters these. They are completely out of cards in hand now, though. There's Regrower. That is also pretty decent. Grixis Uprising, draw a card. Every 4-power creature we draw draws another card. There's a 4-power creature. We are just going. Oh, whenever I cast an instant or sorcery, draw a card. Hello there. Draw 2. Am I gonna get a prowess kill with Elementalist Adept here? Very well, might. Just prowess kill them immediately. Now our opponent gets to go to the restroom. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 5, 10. Yeah, plus that. And then a +1/+1 counter. Cool. Who needs a 1,000-year storm? We basically could have gone through our whole deck if we wanted. I think I actually have a heroic reinforcements in here too somewhere. I could have tried to just really overkill them, I guess. Drawn to the heroic reinforcements with the coma there, but we'll just be polite, just end it as soon as I think we can. We probably could have ended it a tiny bit sooner, but I think that was quick enough. We are 4-1 heading into game number 6. Just the opposite of that last game. Now we are the one who plays Solitaire. Opening hand, Archmage of Runes. Could be a absolute non-game. Opponent takes a mulligan. They are on the play, I think. I don't have a lot of counterspells in this one. I have 1 refute and 1 offer you can't refuse, so I think it's better to just try to be able to draw the extra Archmage card than it is to try to thrill into one of 2 counterspells. Well, now I have to, because I'm just going to discard these 2 anyway. Cycle them to 2 other cards that could be a counterspell. Nope. Wow, alright. Hot garbage on those draws. But that's 2 cards closer to anything that matters. Should have been on the play. I think that hand could have gone through the whole deck on the play, because the thrill, we know we could have played Archmage. We would have drawn, well, we wouldn't have drawn because we were on the play. Would have played Archmage, thrilled away the Icewind Elemental, drawn these 2 and an Incinerating Blast. Then I could Incinerating Blast. No, I'd have to Incinerating Blast the Archmage. All right, we could not have gone through the whole deck. Dang it. So even if we were on the play, just cycle through all the nonsense. Jesus! Does everyone but me get 2 epiphanies? And a painful quandary? I'm trying so hard to get a 7-win run, and I do not think it's in the books. because it is just not in our draft pods. We're doing some cool things, but just not consistent things. Lose 5 to play this and trade it into Raider. And they have a refute anyway. I don't think I would ever refute that unless I had 2 refutes in hand. Because there's too many cards in this format that can just one card can win the game, kind of. Doesn't really matter. I can cast this and go to 1 and then die to the burglar rats. Or I can just concede, and that feels a little better. Alright, here we are for Game 7. Thrill of Possibility doing a lot of heavy lifting here. We are going to keep this. Unfortunately, we just keep being on the draw here, so our opponent could just turn 1, completely invalidate the hand, and take us out of the game, but we'll see what happens. The mulligan to 2. Frenzied Goblin certainly resolves. Easily resolves. The Arbiter of Woe. I only have 1 card in my whole deck that can actually counter that, because the offer you can't refuse cannot. So I don't think I'm digging for a single refute. Okay. Well, the discard decision worked pretty well. Ooh, until that happens. I think I still just do this. Because you're just blind drawing, they could just hit like a 4-4 or something. Or even a 1-1. Okay, basically just like a 4-4 kind of filler creature you get midway through the draft. And let's see if we can just get through the deck with Archmage. Can definitely ditch a Lagak for the draw 3. Uprising, no 4-power creature. Inspiration, draw a card and pick up a Thrill. I think we got there. I think a second copy of Thrill and an Inspiration is enough to pretty much go through the deck. I don't remember if this deck has Heroic Reinforcements or if that was the last deck that we had that did. I guess I'm ditching Uprising, actually, so I can keep a refute since they're playing off the top. If I hit Elvish Regrower, I can pick up Uprising with that anyway. Mild-Mannered Librarian off Soulcaller. It's fine. Could also Amulet the Hunter and then do that. Soulcaller the Hunter. Alright, they timed out, so now I think we should be just fully solitaire mode. Don't even have to worry about responses. Which, I mean, we already didn't have to worry about them actually having responses, but technically they could have clicked that button at any time, so Arena was still going to wait for them for a while. Hello, Squad Rallier. Fine. Dang, I guess our last deck was the one with heroic reinforcements. We just actually never got to do it, which is awkward. Or we did it like one time. So there's not going to be a turn 1 kill, so I'm just going to basically draw my whole deck and have double counterspell up to have the most guaranteed kill possible next turn. Cool. This is more than enough power to kill them next turn. Just blast the Sower. I don't need the Goblin Surprise. It's already over 20. Yeah. There's the concession for our opponent. Like, alright, that's at least 20 power. Now we can pass hold of the 2 counter spells and get there. We are 5-2. We are teetering on the edge here. Can I get a 7-win run? I'm going to do the best I can. Fingers crossed we can be on the play a little bit. Because I think both of our losses were our opponent was like on the play and basically just took us out of the game immediately. So the 1,000-Year Storm deck. I don't remember if the 1,000-Year Storm deck was on the play, but it was definitely like a turn 1 kill kind of thing that we just couldn't do anything. But the other loss was like the brutal discard just right out of the way, as far as I remember. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's possible. Well, this hand has hopes and dreams, but it is on the draw. Okay, what are you going to get with that? 1 Think Twice or an offer you can't refuse? 1 Think Twice. Okay. They can flash it back. There's a Sower that doesn't matter. Flash back the Think Twice. Wardens of the Cycle actually is pretty good, drawing them a card during their end step every turn pretty easily. Okay. Here's Coma. I feel like a refute's in their hand with how long they waited on that. Would you like to counter my Garruk's Uprising? No. Alright, I'll draw a card off that. 1 Crackling Cyclops to discard to the Thrill. 1 Awkward Day of Judgment that I definitely don't want to cast. Inspiration back the Thrill. I'm going to keep Day of Judgment as a backup plan because all it takes is 1 removal spell for the Coma to not be a thing anymore. Still rolling ahead here. Now it takes 2 removal spells thanks to the offer you can't refuse. Alright, we're chilling. I'll let you draw a card off of killing this Sower here. Maybe I should double block, but Prowess is really, really, really easy to trigger. And Omniscience. Alright, they're just going for the draw. There's a Refute as well. Just make me feel all kinds of warm and cozy here. Which is good, because we are in the middle of the biggest snowstorm of the season. So, I could definitely use that. But do you have triple counterspell? I guess we let them counter the thing that gives them treasures. And just counter the original spell. Alright. They don't have triple counter, so I'm about to get a bunch of coils and deal 12 damage. So that is going to be game. We are 6-2. Fighting our way through a lot of Arcane Epiphanies or whatever it's called. And hopefully taking away the trophy for the first time in the Foundations Omniscience Draft format. The first and final time. This is the last draft either way. The event's only up this weekend. And this video is going to be up on Mondays. This video will be up after the event's gone anyway. Okay, keep it on the play. Pray for no interaction from opponent and just start drawing a bunch of cards. No. Awkward for me, but less bad than if they refute my Thrill of Possibility. And now I have to discard Regrower to the Thrill, though, because there's no way I can just pass and do nothing turn one. Oh my god. That's actually not even that insane here, but it's decent. Alright, well, that was one of the saddest Thrill Possibilities I've had. It saved our Librarian, and then that was it. Then we're done. That's all we're doing. Don't worry about it. There's their Librarian. Oh, you can't beat that. Can't beat the draw 5 in Omniscience. At least I don't think you can. We'll find out soon enough. And this just like digs 5 cards deep. If they find an Epiphany, they make 1 Epiphany and then 4 cards. So either way, they draw 3 or 4. Yeah, Thrill of Possibility, 2 cards or 3. I mean, so if they draw these 2, they're going to cast Thrill of Possibility and then draw 2. If they draw these 3, then they've drawn 3. So it's basically the same difference. Ooh, there was a Garruk's Uprising that other pile? Okay, I'm pretty happy with my choice then. Because then that was like 4. They get all 3 of these cards plus the Uprising immediately hits something else. There's the Amulet. Man, the fact they had an Amulet to go with that involuntary employment, though, that's pretty insane. It's pretty gross. Still don't cast this. That way if I draw a Thrill of Possibility, I can cast it. One of our only ways to get out of here is just getting a really lucky chain draw. Thrill of Possibility into more card draw. Into play the whole deck. We have done it before. But our opponent has lethal in 2 swings and a bunch of card draw on board. Indrik is really not it, but at least I get to kill a 3/3 and trade into the 4/4 and slow them down a good chunk. Takes 3 swings to die instead of 2 now. Never mind. Could chump, but then I can't Thrill of Possibility if I draw into one. So we keep that hope alive and hold on to the Adept. It certainly ain't it. So 6-3 it is. No 7-win run this time around, but there's not a ton that we can do about that in this format. We've certainly still made some misplays. There are still plays that matter, like combat math and stuff like that, but overall, insanely high variance format, and there's going to be a lot of non-games of Magic, both your wins and your losses. There are going to be a lot of predetermined, super high variance, super RNG dependent outcomes there. And 6-3 is as good as we make it with this deck. I don't think there were a ton of punts today, but I know our 3-3 run, we could have been 4-2. So maybe if we went 4-2 in that one and didn't punt, maybe we get matched up against some weaker decks from some weaker draft pods, or we just managed to get lucky in those future games. You never know. That could have been our chance at a 7-win run, but doesn't seem like the chances were massively high because I don't think any of our draft pods were particularly spectacular for the Omniscience format. Not once did we get a double Epiphany deck. We had 2 decks with 1 Epiphany in it. And our first deck didn't have any Epiphanies because we took the big Mythic Rare Angel over the Epiphany, which played out fine because we won every single game that we drew it in, and we probably would have won every game we drew Epiphany in, so it was kind of the same difference there. And yeah, I think we had like 2 opportunities to have Uprising decks, and we had it each time. Plenty of Think Twice's and Thrills. We drafted pretty much all those we saw. Yeah, I don't think there's a massive amount we could have done outside of the punty stuff in our second draft run here, so still a pretty good record. Still a very positive win rate for a super high variance format. 5-3, 3-3, and 6-3. So that is 5 more wins than losses. Quite a bit of a net positive here. But because it is quick draft buy-in and quick draft payout, we are still at like a little bit of a net negative in gyms because you need to get 6 wins to be up in gyms. Yeah, and the 3 wins we were down in gyms. Yeah. Had some fun though, definitely shook things up, and it was a wild Omniscience format this time around. There are multiple insane rares and build-arounds in this Omniscience set. I think it's a little bit more chaotic than some of the other ones, because there's some really, really low lows and some really, really weak Omniscience cards and draft pods, but some insanely high highs, like a turn 1 Painful Quandary or a turn 1 the Storm thing. It's the blue-red enchantment that lets you storm off with all your instants and sorceries. Those are really fun, really powerful, almost guaranteed win conditions for this Omniscience format. There's also ones you don't really have to build around at all, like Progenitus is super cool in this format. You could just turn 1 Progenitus somebody. There's, of course, the Mythic Angel that we got to play that makes it so you can't lose the game until they deal with it. That one seems really great in Omniscience. This Archmage is another one of these, much like the 1,000-Year Storm. That's the name of it, I remember now. Where you're just going to cycle through, draw your whole deck really easily, really consistently turn 1, so that was pretty sweet. Cure is just like always good. Was great in the normal draft format, but really great here. There's a lot of absolute haymakers in this format. It was a wild, wild time. But that's going to do it for the format, and that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.